Hello everyone and my dear students, I again welcome to all on my study channel based on 12th Information Technology syllabus of HSC Board. This is Poonam Kamthe, lecturer in Information Technology Department of Aryan Junior College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Camp, Pune. Today I am going to teach you forms in HTML5. Forms in HTML5. In 11th standard, we have studied different controls related to form like text, radio, checkbox, submit, reset, select, and text area. Text field is used to enter user single line text field like username. Then for creating text field we have to use input type is equal to text. Then radio button. For creation of radio button we have to use input type is equal to radio. Then for creation of checkbox we have to use input type is equal to checkbox. Then for submit button input type is equal to submit. For reset button input type is equal to reset. For creation of select and text area we have to use select tag and text area tag. These controls are used to collect different kinds of user input such as contact details like name, address, single or multiple options from group of options as well as clearing and submitting data, etc. HTML5 has introduced additional form controls which can also be used for validation purpose. HTML5 Advanced Input Elements. HTML5 introduced a number of new input types. First, input type is equal to color. It defines a color picker. Next, input type is equal to number. It defines a field for entering number. Then, input type is equal to URL. It defines a field for entering URL. Next, input type is equal to image. It defines an image as a submit button. Next, input type is equal to date. It defines a date picker with year, month and day. Next, input type is equal to email. It defines a field for an email address. Next input type is input type is equal to month. It defines a month and year control in a format of YYYMM. Next field is input type is equal to range. Input type is equal to range define a range control. Default range control is 0 to 100. Next field is input type is equal to date time local. It defines a date picker that includes the year, month, day and time. Next, input type is equal to time. It defines a control for entering a time. Next, input type is equal to week. It defines a week and year control. Next field is input type is equal to search. It defines a text field for entering search string like site search or Google search. Next field is input type is equal to file. This field defines a file select field and browse button for file upload. Next, input type is equal to tail, used to define input field that should contain a telephone number. Next point is input restriction. A list of some common input restriction is given below, few of which can be used for validation purpose. First attribute of input field is disable. This input restriction used to specify that the input field should be disabled. For specify maximum value for input field, we have to use max attribute. Means if we use max is equal to 5, then user can input maximum value 5. User can't enter value after 5, that is 6, 7. Next, for specify the minimum value for an input field, we have to use min attribute. Next, pattern. It specifies a regular expression to check input values. Then, read only. Read only specifies that the input field is read only, cannot be changed. Next, placeholder. This acts as a temporary label showing the purpose of text field without requiring label tag. Next attribute is required. It specifies that the input field is required, must be filled out. Next attribute is autocomplete. An autocomplete specifies whether the form or input field should have autocomplete on or off. Then autofocus. Autofocus specifies that the input field should automatically get focus when the page loads. Next attribute is height and width. Height and width specify the height and width of input type is equal to image. Next attribute is multiple. Multiple specify that the user is allowed to enter more than one value in the input field. This works with input type like email and file. Some other useful attributes used with input are first, ID. This is used to identify the HTML element uniquely through document object model. And then class. It is used to apply CSS style to the individual input element. These two attributes are used in CSS program. Here is one example of HTML form. First statement is doc type HTML. It tells the browser the version of HTML program and type of code. Then HTML, then head, title, slash head, body, form bg color is equal to pink. It display form in pink color. Next, name. Input type is equal to text. Create a text field. Then, using autocomplete attribute, user can see previous field entering field. Next, email. Input type is equal to email. Create a field which take email address from user. Then date. Input type is equal to date. Create a date picker. Next, input type is equal to name. Next, input type is equal to number. Create a field which is used to enter number. Min is equal to 1 and max is equal to 1. So, user can enter minimum 1 value and maximum 100 value. Next, input type is equal to tel. This field is used to enter telephone number. Next, input type is equal to URL. Create a field which is used to enter URL. Next, input type is equal to image /form /body, then /html. It display output like this. First is text field, then second field is field for email address. This field defines a field for email address. Then date picker, it defines date picker that include year, month, day and time. Then time picker. Thank you.